All right, welcome back. Going to talk about power only. I did a lot of research before I started with F2F when I was thinking about going out on my own or going with F2F. And there are a lot of guys out there doing power only loads, putting out lots of videos, some good information, but I never quite got all the information I was looking for. So hopefully I can convey that to you today. And I've been doing this for a couple months. I'm by no means an expert, but I'm going to show you what I've learned on it. So starting out power only, the number one thing you can do that's the easiest thing is the tow away. And that's basically hooking up to a trailer and dropping it somewhere else. Super easy. Just make sure you're asking all the right questions. Some of these, they put in there it's a tow away, but you find out later it's might be a frac tank. And if you don't have a winch on your truck, you can't hook up to it. So make sure you ask all the right questions. I've had a couple that I've had to turn down after getting out there and looking at them. One was an old oil field trailer, didn't have tags on it, didn't have an inspection, it didn't have brakes. And the agent, he was super cool with it. He didn't, know that all that stuff was wrong with it. No big deal. So the other one, in talking to the agent, he wasn't sure about what was going on, but he had one driver to go out there, return the thing, and said something about the trailer. His fifth wheel wouldn't adjust enough to carry the trailer. So I was kind of wary about it to begin with. I only had to deadhead about 7 miles over here to take a look at this thing. And when I got there, it was very obvious that the trailer, you had to have a single axle truck to take it. So just be sure that you ask all the right questions until you get the answer you want. So like I said, usually drop and hook. You're not going to make a ton of money on these things. They know it's super easy, especially if it's an empty trailer. But there are companies out there like Snyder, JB Hunt, Swift. You'll see a lot of their loads on the load board, and I've yet to take any, mainly because they don't pay anything. And it may seem, super easy. I did get registered with Snyder, and this lady was, telling me all the right things. Oh, if you once you get started, you can, we'll run you and you can make all this money. But what I didn't find out to the end, I was thinking, oh yeah, I see, loads right from the house going right through the house, but what you don't find out, and I didn't know to ask the question right off the bat, was for every load that you do with Snyder, say it's picking up in your hometown. You can't just run over there and get that trailer and go. You have to hunt down an empty trailer, backfill their stock from wherever you're picking up that trailer, and then go with it. Now, like I said, I haven't seen a single load from Schneider or JB Hunt that would even pay enough to tempt me to take the load to begin with, much less going to hunt down an empty trailer somewhere and backfill. I'm just not going to do that. I'll take I'll deadhead a little bit and get something for more money. But that's something you got to be aware of. So tow away, the only other things you have to do, is get your rate con. If you're with a company like F2F, you get your rate con, you forward it, they sign it, you send it back. Super easy. Owner operator, you sign it yourself. The other thing you have to do is some insurance business. So lots of times these, with a company like F2F with 400 drivers, they're probably already signed up with all these other companies, but you don't have to do a carrier packet. So the only other thing you have to do on this is get an insurance certificate sent over to these people. Lots of times they don't care about it. Some of them do. So it's super easy. You just call your insurance agent and say, give them the information from this agent and say, can you, give me a certificate on this? And they do it 100 times a day. They'll just send that certificate with their information on it. That way, if anything happens to the trailer, they get paid and you don't. So super easy, tow away. Just always, remember, if it looks funny. Just keep asking questions till you get the right answer. Some of these agents either don't know, or they're just trying to get somebody to get over there to move that freight. So the other thing is a loadout. So a loadout is a pretty sweet deal. Somebody either wants a trailer moved or they want a load moved, and then they're going to pay you to move that trailer and let you use that trailer for a certain amount of time. So one of these is, if they have a load, say they want a load moved from Houston to Memphis, what they'll do is they'll pay you to move that load from Houston to Memphis, and then they'll give you a certain amount of time to get that trailer back to Houston, and they'll let you use that trailer for, say, 5 days, as much as you want, as many loads as you can get on that sucker, but you have to have it back in Houston in 5 days, or they'll start charging you a daily rate. Now, it's a super sweet deal. I've only done it with a flatbed. I got paid $1,000 to move a flatbed, and I got use of it for 7 full days. So, wow, you can't beat that, can you? The only thing you have to watch out for, if you're doing a loadout, it has to be a legal trailer. Towaway is different. It doesn't have to have an inspection if it's a towaway trailer and it's involved in a sale. But a loadout, you can't put anything on that trailer if it doesn't have an inspection. So beware of that. Some of these places, they'll say, oh yeah, loadout for 7 days and you can use our trailer. But the catch is, as soon as you go pick up that trailer, you have to take it and go get it inspected on your dime. So watch out for that. I've seen anywhere from, using it for 1 day up to 10 days. But there's something really important that you must watch out for on these loadout trailers. Make sure it is a 53-foot dry van with swing doors. And you would think, oh, well, even if it's a reefer, surely you can use a reefer van for a loadout and go pick up dry van loads. You can't. I've called numerous places. I'm sure there's one or two out there somewhere that don't care what kind of van you show up in. But I would, just off of my experience, there's no one out there that, they get this in their mind, 53-foot dry van, swing doors, and it doesn't matter if they're loading 1 box of nails, they will not load it on anything different. That's what's in their brain, that's what they want, and they're not going to change their mind for you. So, when you get on that load board and you're looking for a loadout, you'll see these sweet deals where they're saying, oh yeah, we'll pay you $800 to take our van over here and you get to use it for 10 days. And then in small writing down there, it'll say 48-foot non-working reefer. They're not going to let you use it. And I got lucky on this because I was in an area, there were just a ton of these 48-foot vans, non-working reefers, doing loadouts from different areas. And I thought, well, I'll just go pick up one of those, and just off something, told me, I better, figure this out first. So I called on some loads and I said, hey, can I use this reefer van? Nope, can't do it. We need something with a wood floor. And I called, one after the other, wouldn't do it. So make your calls first, because I bet you 99% of them are not going to let you use that reefer van for a dry van load. They just, it's in their brain. It doesn't matter, if it works perfectly, they're not going to use it. And the other one, there was actually a 53-foot van with roll-up doors, and you would think it's the exact same thing as 53-foot van with a swing door. I can back up to the building. They'll never know. I made calls on that too. They don't want it. I don't know the reason for it. Just doesn't seem, it doesn't seem like there'd be any harm in using the same kind of van, just has different doors. They don't want it. This is in their brain. That's what they want. So that's just something to be aware of when you're doing the loadouts. Around where I'm at, and I've seen it other places also, you're doing these loadouts of these brand new trailers. And I've been told, I've never experienced it, but if you're doing the loadout with the brand new trailer, beware of getting damage inside the trailer, like scratches and stuff like that, because when you deliver it, they'll want to charge you to fix those things. So take your pictures and all that first. But loadouts can be a sweet deal, and like I said, I've taken advantage of it before. I got paid $1,000 to move a trailer, and then on top of that, I can't remember exactly what the load paid. It was like $4,000 and something. On top of that, so the $1,000 was just cream on the rising to the top there. But so power only. I've seen some dedicated routes for flatbed. You have to have your chains and binders. I've seen all types of things. I just put in a bid to move some frac tanks from an auction site. That's another thing. If you're doing something like frac tanks, you either have to have a come along or a winch on your truck, or you need somebody to pick those things up so you can hook up to them. So I made sure of that first. And another thing to be aware of is oil field equipment is usually in fairly bad shape. Sometimes it's been sitting for years. So if you're not mechanically inclined, you might steer clear of that. You're usually going to have, something, little thing you have to fix, some air leak or something on there. And you have to stop quite often to make sure, your brakes aren't fixing to lock up or something like that. So I've made a pretty good living on it for the past 2 months. Nothing special. I've put a couple of my, weeks out there for you guys, but it has just been very nice to be able to have that option of just going and picking up a trailer and dropping it on the other end. I love doing my flatbed. I love getting out of the truck, but during these last 2 months, this has sort of opened my eyes on how I can, different ways that I can make a living with my truck. And I just love the freedom of that extra option, the extra thing I can do, just in case I don't decide I don't want to buy a trailer. Because right now I'm just, I don't want to rent a trailer. I don't want to waste that money renting a trailer. So if you're looking for something easy, something that will pay the rent, I recommend a power only.